Hello and welcome back to Kirby Planet Robobot. This video is all about the arena. So, hammer time, I guess. I do actually know that Archer is very good against, at the very least, the normal arena, since whenever you duck, you get invincibility versus anything. Like, anything grabs, laser beams, blazing infernos, explosives, you name it. Hiding behind a cardboard box will help. No. Cardboard tree. Really whatever Archer decides it's gonna conjure up out of the pocket. But anyhow, as you can see, Clanky Wood stands no chance the way it is. So, it's literally just dead. I kill it before it can even get back on the screen. Well, what I mean by that is before it can enter the foreground again. I destroy the top two missiles just to poke fun at it and to get the next attack to start faster, but I don't know if that actually helps. Immediately take it down. And I just missed a sub 30-second kill. Because obviously I got hit, so I wasn't able to perform my hammer flip as quickly. But next is the Hollow Defense API thing. Hey, I did it! I remembered. Anyhow, these guys are pushovers. Like, this entire battle adds like 20 seconds to the timer, if not for the last section, because Hammer doesn't have a very good ranged attack. But I can still murder them pretty quickly. The things they spawn. It's just their annoying avoidant AI. Because, based on my experience, whenever you get it down to its last bit of health, it will absolutely avoid you at all costs. It'll be on the other side of the arena. Which means you prefer to have a long-ranged attack. Or at the very least faster than I am with moving over. But yeah, none of the hollow enemies stood a chance. And despite knowing where it was, it took me a second in order to actually hit it. Okay, so it also took me about 30 seconds. But only because it took like 10 seconds to actually hit the darn API itself. Also, I play the arenas very safely by taking a maximum tomato every chance I get. No reason not to. Also, Kirby does a double hop if you're standing in the center whenever you do a Susie transition there. As you just saw. I think that's funny. Now, I tried to do a hammer flip, but the second one wasn't close enough and caused me to get my ability knocked off again. It doesn't happen often, but it hasn't happened too many times yet, but I seemingly have terrible luck with losing my ability multiple times, and I decided to just let Susie hit the ground since I know I can jump over it and murder. And then we're on to the next one, which is, if I'm remembering correctly, Mecha Knight. Because the arena actually plays in the order of bosses in this game. No, Mid-Boss All-Stars, I forgot about this. Yeah, a little quirk about Planet Robobot is it actually goes in the order you'd expect to face the bosses in story mode. Except for the mid-bosses, which they place in 2 bursts. Yeah, like, each marking a third of the way through, I want to say. Or about there. Like, every 3 is a mid-boss. Well, there's only 2, but it's placed 3 apart. You get it. Anyhow, these flying enemies are the most annoying because I can't immediately start with a hammer flip, so I just smash my hammer in its face enough times and it kills it. All in all, I'm only 2:24 in on this, even though I'm 6 minutes into the video. And then we're gonna start Mecha Knight, which I do not do as well because I get immediately hit by the multi-hitter. But it does place me right next to my hammer and he comes next to me so I can immediately punish him. Unfortunately, I do not get the last hit with a hammer flip, meaning he has higher health than I would like going into the second phase. Because, obviously, the less health he has in the second phase, the less I have to deal with it. And this just gives you 2 free hammer flips. I got greedy and went for 3. Then I lost my ability again. And just smack him. Oh yeah, and then DD clone, I always hammer flip the first one after getting it to inhale the wrong direction. Also, I think some of the damage still carries over into whatever clone you attack first, because obviously these guys can take more than a single hammer flip. Also, I hardly ever use the hammer twist. The little spin is plenty fine enough for me. And then we're on to the machine thing. What's its name? EDD clones and D3, so the minigun is just D3. Okay. Also, I perfectly timed this hammer flip, causing minimal time used. I do mistime that one though. But other than that, they die very quickly. 4:24 on the arena timer, and 9:08 on the real time. Obviously, this isn't actually a speedrun, but because there's a timer, it makes me feel like it. Okay. Now, on cogs, obviously, you just want to charge as many of the full charges as you can. I dodged the first attack, but then I immediately wobble into the next 2 shots. Now, the top and bottom guns are obviously the weakest, but I just lob so many missiles into the middle one that it dies at about the same time as the top two. Because I personally hover around the top two guns more often. I just find it's an easier area for me to cover. And then this takes like 5 hammer flips, but I don't get all 5 out because I lose my ability again. Now luckily that time I was able to deal with the damage by inhaling the multiple missiles he was shooting. I wanted to smash the hammer into the poison blob, which I did not pay attention to the name. Then Bonkers goes down, even easier, and the ESP, or whatever that is, I'm not gonna bother, ESP enemy, is actually just low enough to be hit by the top of the hammer flip. So it makes it much easier on me. And then we're on to the second Mecha Knight fight, which I'd argue actually goes, it's actually easier the second time around. Because in the first one you do less damage with the electric aura around him. So you have to wait. And then here I just immediately take him to phase 2. And phase 2 is just a joke whenever you have any way of doing invincibility through the enemy. And then of course I take the advantage and whack him with a whole bunch of hammer flips. I just use a normal swing to kill him. No reason to take up the extra time doing a full hammer flip again. But anyhow, I'm now realizing that about double the time passes in the real video than the amount of time I'm actually spending fighting a boss. It's not like it's slow. That's the thing. It's actually still moving at a fairly decent pace, I feel. But anyhow, it's time for Haltman. Immediately, I go for the hammer flips, which take him down rather quickly. It took like 9 seconds, I want to say. 9, 10. And then I just absolutely attack that man for all he's worth. Obviously I wanted to try and kill the robot before it got to me, but you need to hit him more times before he gets to the center in order to do that. And then obviously I want to get him to the third phase before he can start doing his spin, because it's a lot harder to hit him while he's spinning, at least with good damage. And then here he actually chooses to go to the exact opposite side of me, so I have to run all the way around the arena in order to just miss the hammer flip. Obviously not the best, but I can still do plenty of damage. I dash through him, he'll jump over. And then, for some reason I thought he was going to turn around, and then I mistimed the hammer spin. One more dash through, and then as soon as I can hit him again, he'll go into phase 3. Now I do somewhat know the pattern, but obviously it's an annoying attack to land. Now I nearly kill him before he can actually go into the cube, but he just gets out of range before I can. And the hammer flip would have just missed him, leaving more HP for when he gets out of the cube. I stand on the corner so I can more easily get to him. I need one more hammer flip, or I forget, is the up one the hammer flip, or is the... No, I think the air one's the ultra swing, or... Yeah, ultra swing? Yeah. Either way, about 8, and we're facing down the 1520 here. This feels a lot faster on my end. I hope it's not going too slow. Anyhow, we're on to Star Drain, the last boss of the arena, and honestly one of the easier ones because you don't have to deal with the silly drilling minigame. Obviously, it's not too difficult, but hey, the easier it is, the better, because it means I can do this with less attempt. Matter of fact, I only had one other attempt that I had to scrap because for some reason I had 2 audio captures set up for Kirby. Which is unfortunate because when I went to go get the last 3 golden stickers, I hadn't noticed that, so I recorded myself getting them, which that will be shown at the end of the video, the 3 golden stickers that I missed. And, well, the audio's kinda echoing, which I thought sounded pretty neat on the Haltman fight, but obviously it sounds a bit awkward when you're applying it to the sticker sounds or anything else, really. It really just sounds like an echo, because that's what happens. Now, unfortunately, I do not quite get the kill on first phase Star Drain before the meteors come, but I do actually get the kill right after the attack starts. Which means I do lose the 5 seconds from the cutscene switching between them, but overall I still am good on heading on to phase 2. And as you probably saw in my World 6 coverage, phase 2 is easy. I already learned the teleportation patterns, hence why I was able to start shooting it immediately without going to it, or with going to it. And then on the second, it mass shoots missiles. They're tougher than the previous missiles, but it just mass shoots missiles, which I use in order to deal with the phase a lot faster, because personally I don't like having to worry about that many projectiles. Outside of the missiles, it's literally no difficulty, because the missiles are everything. And then... does it spell halt backwards? I'm just now thinking about this. Do the letters that spawn spell halt backwards? Or is like it a random shuffle of Haltman or something? Either way, I at the very least know that I kill it before it can really do any swinging, because it's been so long screaming into the void that I can launch a million projectiles into it, and then it just dies. And then all that goes away, and guess what? It's Star Nova. If you'll recall from Superstar Ultra. Yeah, it makes sense. It suddenly makes sense why the Haltman Empire was supposedly invincible. Also, the reason I'm not running away from the black hole this time is because I find it's ever so slightly faster and allows me to deal more damage if I just get inhaled. Not to mention, I still have a max tomato in my storage, so I can easily tank the damage. And then at this point, I know how the rooster acts. He'll move from one side of the screen to the other before aiming at you, taking about 5-10-ish seconds before it starts firing bursts of arrows at you. By the way, all these objects act as 1.5 bars of your charge shots. Each and every one. Despite the fact this looks like so much less material. Also, so long as you get some shots on it before it starts doing its spin, you should be able to kill it before it can actually land any hits on you. And then the threes are where it actually starts getting somewhat smart because it'll plan its attacks on you. For example, if you're on the top middle, whenever the 3 attack starts, it'll spawn the 3s in the pattern of bottom left, top middle, bottom right. And then the 2s will just spin counterclockwise. Once before they disappear. And then on to the last 2, or the last one that I show because I'm currently trying to see how quickly I can do this. And I finish him off at 13:27:24. Which is better than the first attempt I recorded by about 30-ish seconds, as you will probably see. I make no guarantees. Yeah, my previous best was 14:02.69. And there is no number 3 because I only did 2 attempts. Overall, here comes the golden stickers. And brace your ears. Yeah, I kind of warned you. It's not the worst thing, it's just annoying, which, now that I think of it, I'll probably have turned it slightly down for you guys. But anyhow, here's the Meta Knight sticker, and then I just noticed this one when going back to 3-2. By the way, the order I did these is 4-1, 3-2, and then 6-1. This one I show all the stickers I got on 3-2. I got a Yarn Kirby, whatever that thing is. A Creature, Bandana Waddle Dee. I only just noticed this time around that the bomb block went down a bit extra, which I think I noticed, but I didn't. Yeah, that's the end of the video, so if you enjoyed it, why not give it a like, and if you're enjoying most of the content, feel free to subscribe. And have a good day.